I usually keep it very analytical, very hands-on, very tangible on this channel. I have data-driven approaches. I talk about portfolio diversification, risk management, spotting bottoms and tops in markets. I talk about the very concrete things in crypto, but in finance in general. In this video, I want to do something slightly different, and of course, your feedback for this different kind of topic, this different format, would be very much appreciated as well. I want to talk about how I actually come to those thoughts that are slightly different to what you might see in other YouTube channels. Right? A lot of YouTube channels copy each other. A lot of YouTube channels simply just draw lines on charts. They push up random cryptocurrencies. They walk through different websites, just read what's on the website, and that's basically it. And I try to always dive a bit deeper, right? I try to also sprinkle in a little bit of educational content. I try to also think about the market very differently to both what the crypto folks are thinking, but also what the traditional finance people are thinking. Because both groups, they live in boxes to a degree. What I find is super important with all of this is to curate the people you talk with, to curate the content you watch, and to be very, very careful what your mind is actually spinning around. If you're watching just the random news of the day, or if you're watching a lot of entertainment, then your mind is occupied in the background always around those things. I notice when I watch very valuable content for an extended period of time that I then come to conclusions that might be somewhat new. So I notice the brain seems to have some kind of limited capacity, obviously, but the higher the rate of high quality content is that you're consuming in a certain period of time, the more unique thoughts in the end also spring out of this. So if you just on the side watch a little bit of crypto YouTube or a little bit of motivational content or so, and most of your other watches, most of your other readings is still relatively garbage entertainment, it's unlikely that your head will passively in the background think about new ideas in this context, right? You need to fully load it with high quality stuff in order to come up with new ideas and to then also critically combine things, right? So I believe that to a degree, motivation, creativity, unique thoughts, they are simply just combining existing things in a new way. So to that degree, artificial intelligence is actually almost, I believe, like real intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence also just takes things that we already know, takes information we already know, and then scrambles them to a degree randomly together. I believe the mind is actually similar. And if you don't have enough data in the recent memory that is actually very high quality, that is focused on one single topic, then it's unlikely that you're going to come out with new ideas, that you get an edge. Because how do you get an edge in the market? In any market, not just in crypto or in stocks. You get an edge in the market by not just being better informed than others and by being better skilled than others, but also by having more creative thoughts, right? By doing approaches that other people haven't thought of yet. And you can only get those if you think about this for long enough. And that's not necessarily only active thinking, it's also passive thinking in the background. It's maybe even when we are dreaming, it's maybe when we get on a walk. And then somehow the brain is always circling around certain ideas, right? And if you're consuming not relevant information to that topic where you actually want to progress in, if you still consume half of your information with something completely unrelated, and then the other half with the thing you want to be progressing in, the progress in that thing that you actually want to get further on slows down a lot. So there seems to be maybe even some kind of accelerating return in unique ideas the more concentrated you can focus on that topic. So that's why I think the monk mode approach is actually quite powerful. It's not powerful over the very long term because other things then drop off and this completely kills the balance, right? If you don't have any sports, if you don't follow fitness anymore, if you don't take care of your family, then those kinds of areas in life will completely fall apart, and this will then also take away the focus of whatever you currently want to focus on. But for a certain period of time where the strain on those other areas can be heightened to a degree and where you can just focus simply on one single thing, I think the progress skyrockets in a relatively short period of time. So take care what you consume. Be very mindful of when you scroll through YouTube, etc., if you actually really want to consume that content. It might make sense to potentially also remove all of the apps that just serve your content in a linear fashion, right? If you're just scrolling through Facebook, or you're scrolling through Instagram, or you're scrolling through TikTok or YouTube Shorts, right? You're not targeted at consuming content. You're not really thinking about what do I want to learn? What do I want to improve upon? Who do I want to listen to? Where do I think this person is actually skilled? You're simply just serving what the algorithm thinks might be most sticky for you. And that might not necessarily be the thing that brings your concentration to the right area where you actually want to progress. There are also a lot of those common wisdoms, right? As in, you become the average of the 5 people around you. I don't actually 100% believe this, right? I still believe that you can be the best in whatever you're focusing on compared to the 5 people around you. But I do think that if you surround yourself with people that are better than you right now in something, that you can elevate to their level quicker, because you will get to know what they think about, right? If you copy their thoughts for a degree, if you get their inputs on things, you will elevate to that level quicker. It's better than if you just try this all completely by yourself. It's also good just for motivation, right? I, for example, live here in a relatively nice neighborhood in Malaysia. And because of that, I see a lot of neighbors driving around in very expensive cars. I see a lot of people having quite a lot of kids. I see all the kids go to private school, etc. And that, of course, also motivates me to achieve similar things, right? When I see it's doable, people can make this happen. And when I see the more I work, the more I concentrate on improving, the better income also gets. When I see all of those things, then I see, okay, I can probably also achieve this and get maybe the nice car, get maybe another child, make sure that the children I already have a good education and that this is all being taken care of, right? This is another nice motivator. Simply being around people that already are how you want to be is super useful. And so think about this also whenever you consider, maybe I want to get a promotion at a job, maybe I want to rise to management to a degree. Whenever you think about these potential dreams, right, look at those people very closely and think, do I really want to be like that person? Do I think that the CEO of the company I currently work for, or that the senior management for the company I currently work for, do I think that they are happy? Or would I be happy if I was to do the same things that they currently do? Would I be happy to travel around to different countries several times a week? Would I be happy with that workload? Would I be happy with that responsibility, right? And have to potentially also lay off people in case things don't get so well. Sometimes the answer to this might actually not be yes. Maybe those things don't make you happy. Of course, everybody wants to strive higher. Everybody wants to earn more money. But sometimes earning more money doesn't necessarily mean to climb up the corporate ladder, to just get the next step in your current career. Sometimes it might be to potentially build up a second career and get this up, right? So there are many ways to roam. There are many ways to make money. Crypto, of course, is one of them, but it might not be the main avenue for you. I personally always had a very strong affinity to mathematics. I always had a strong affinity to stocks in general. I was analyzing the stock market, analyzing, if you can call it like this, when I was already 14 years old, right? I was surfing to the online brokers at the time, looking at the charts. I was the one drawing those random lines on those charts, hoping to get a nice price prediction. Over the years, you of course figure out that this is not necessarily always the best approach. But still, I have a passion for this already for a very, very long time. And that's probably why this whole thing works out for me. If you have a passion for something else, it still might make sense to invest in crypto. It still might make sense to buy some Bitcoin, right? But it might not necessarily make sense to dive so deep to be super actively trading and trying to beat the market, right? Because only the minority of people actually beat the market. Only the minority of people can make a 5x on their investment. If one person makes a 5x on their investment, then on average, 4 other people lost everything, right? If simply we are balancing things out and we just say Bitcoin is the general benchmark. So the way I approach this mentally is, I think, where do I actually want to have my market edge? Where do I actually want to be better? And I do not think that I'm better in every market. So I don't believe, for example, that I could beat the property market. I don't think I can buy a property and sell it maybe 2 years down the line for 50% more if the overall property market wouldn't increase, right? I only believe I could take the general performance of the property market, buy something average. I also think the same, for example, for the stock market, right? I do believe I can buy the average stock and I will be okay. But I don't think that I can figure out what's the perfect micro cap to invest in to then 10x with that super small stock. I don't think I can buy the property and then flip it very quickly afterwards and make tons of money. I simply have a very strong focus on crypto, and this is where I currently have a lot of market edge, I believe, where I do believe that I'm better informed than a lot of other people, where I do believe I have the better tools than most people, and this is simply where I am focused on. But this might not actually be the right thing for you. If you have a focus on something completely different, maybe that's not even that much money related, right? If you know very well the art scene, if you know very well, say, the motorbike scene or the car scene, maybe this is your way to make money with it. You could flip those potentially, you could make content around them, there's all kinds of ways, but I believe the natural inclination that you currently have, the passion you currently have for something, that's probably the best way and the best area to generate outperformance, right? This is where you then can be in the top 10 or 5% of market participants. So I think it's essential to be very selective what kind of content to consume, to be very selective what kind of people to hang around with, and to also be very selective on what kind of market you actually want to beat, if you want to beat any market, right? When building a career, normally the rewards are very much skewed towards the top. In other words, if you can be among the top because you're the most passionate about it, because your brain power is mainly occupied by that topic, then you're probably on a good path. At least that's how it worked for me. Let me know what you think about this kind of video topic. It's a bit more fluffy, but I still believe it's quite important. If you liked it, feel free to give this a thumbs up. It helps the channel grow. And see you next time. Feel free to also subscribe. Cheers.